Dennis, es geht gleich los. Du musst aufhören.
Für Livestream.
Passt. Ist ins Bild?
Verdienst du eigentlich mit Livestream? Verdienst du irgendwas mit Livestream?
No. Yo! Jetzt durch weiterspielen, Manuel. Yo, what is up? We are here live in Fürstenfeld. This is another episode of Manny the Monkey Live TV. Okay, wait. So this is a special live stream that I wanted to do for a longer time now already, because we've reached the 70K subscriber milestone. And, as usual, I wanted to do a video about just like, thank you, you're so awesome for supporting me and stuff like that. But I figured, why not do a live stream again? Because it was so exciting and so funny last time, which is actually already a long time ago. I think about like half a year or maybe already a year or something. So, yeah, you can tell me in the meantime, by the way, how the quality is like and how the audio is like and stuff like that, okay? Because I'm doing this for the first time here in the climbing gym, where we have actually decently good internet. So yeah, this should be actually working quite well, significantly better at least than last time. So the plan for this live stream is that I'm simply going to do a little bit of a training session. I do a little bit of bouldering on the 45er first, and then I'm gonna do some body strength maybe 1 or 2 hours. Let's see how it goes. And yeah, for you guys, you can ask questions. And Manuel MC in the background is making some Digeridoo music with this awesome stuff. Yeah, of course, he loves you all. All right, so I'm simply gonna warm up. And yeah, I try to stay in the frame all the time. As far as it seems, a little bit dark maybe. Okay. Yeah, we don't have a lot of light here in the gym at the moment. But I think the wall should be quite lit, and the sound, as long as the sound is good, that's pretty nice as well. All right, so let's start with warming up. As always, we want to warm up the fingers first with some honey. Some chalk here. You can simply start asking questions, I would say, in the meantime, and I will answer them. I will try to answer them later on. And don't distract them too much. Let's play some Digeridoo. Feels good today. So it's actually already quite late in the day. It's here in Austria. It is 21 o'clock in the evening, in the afternoon. And I, of course, don't know how late it is at your place, but for us, this is actually quite late for a training session. The reason why I do this is because during the day, it's actually getting pretty hot in the gym already, because it's kind of, sticking out of this concrete surface, and it's heating up quite significantly during the day, especially now where there's this really hot summer sun all day long. And in the evening, when the air gets cooler, then we can open up all the windows and we get some fresh air in. And usually the training sessions are a lot better, in the evening than during the day. Right. We can already start with some campus.
Sind schon welche da, oder was? Wann werden die Haare wieder rasiert? Hey, how long should I wait? How do you warm up for Digeridoo? Looks and sound okay. Wie gut sollte man nach einem halben Jahr ungefähr sein? What do you think is the most exercise?
So let's check the first questions.
Du kannst dir nur Fragen beantworten.
Siehe. Wie gut sollte man nach einem halben Jahr Klettern ungefähr sein? Okay.
Wer seid ihr?
So the question means in English, how good should you be after half a year of active climbing? I mean, this highly depends on your genetics and your talent and stuff like that, because I've seen people, honestly, who boulders already, I would say, like 7B or something like that, after half a year, no problem. But of course, if you have a light build, if you have a relatively strong finger strength, everything is possible. If you're still quite young, this is also a big factor. And if you generally have a talent for the movement, then it's definitely possible. But it doesn't have to be that way, when you're kind of heavy and you still have a lot of weight to lose, then you cannot expect such a progression, I would say. Okay. What would you say is better for muscles? Showering cold or warm? Honestly, I would always go with what feels the most convenient. I mean, maybe not the best answer. I'm not on board with all the cold showering hype too much. Okay, I do cold shower myself, especially now in the summer when it's super hot. I really like it actually, especially after a training session like this when I'm all sweaty and stuff. And then in the cold shower, that's just awesome. Also, the skin I feel feels a lot better after a cold shower than after a warm shower actually. But in the winter, getting in a cold shower in the winter is a real pain. And I'm not sure if that's, in any way beneficial for your body, except for that it burns additional calories and something, which is actually something that you want to avoid, Why would you want to burn additional calories? I mean, if you want to lose fat, which is another controversial topic that could be a good thing or a bad thing, really. Any tips for healing hand skin when you're still a beginner? The reason why a lot of the times beginners have a lot of problems with hand skin is simply that they have to take still really big holds, If you have to take really juggy holds all the time, then especially here, where your fingers start, and also here on these joints, you get a lot of these calluses, when you go on these jogs all the time, and with time, then you're, of course, ripping some of these calluses away, and then you're gonna have, all this bleeding and stuff and injuries on the skin. My advice, hard to say. You gotta go through that simply. I feel like as soon as you're getting onto smaller holes, actually, onto edges and stuff like that, it's getting a lot better, simply because the used surface of the hand, in terms of skin, gets a lot smaller because you're only using your fingertips and maybe this joint here a lot. So this is actually the only place where I have really big calluses at the moment, close to my fingertips, because I'm getting back on the small holes, especially after the finger healed again, stuff like that. So yeah, tips for healing hand skin when you're still a beginner. Maybe use a sandpaper to get rid of these calluses from time to time, so that they can't rip off. That would be a good tip, I think. And yeah, get onto the small holes as soon as you can, simply. Are you climbing Montserrat, Spain? Not soon. Not anytime soon. It's not on the plan for this summer, but we've got other great plans. We've got our amazing plans, I tell you, my friends. Audio is great with noise. Okay, I hope that's not too bad, the noise. My friend, how do I get better at sport climbing? I have no endurance. I'm a boulder bro. Okay, so we're gonna do a few moves on the wall again, and then we're gonna answer that one. Come on. Do some moves.
Yes.
Yes. Feels good today. Feels good today. Okay, we're soon ready to actually put on the climbing shoes. Pretty happy about the quality of the stream, I have to say, directly from the climbing gym. That's pretty cool. Hm? Wir brauchen noch Background Music. Okay, mal kurz das hinaus. Okay. Okay, so we're starting already to, take smaller holds. By the way, when it comes to warming up, a lot of people really like to traverse some super simple, easy traverses and stuff like that. I personally have the feeling one of the most skin-saving ways to warm up, and also shoe-saving ways, by the way, is simply go on an overhanging wall like this, and grab a few holds. Just, hang, very short hanging times, and just, by activating the nervous system and getting the blood flow going to the forearms and stuff like that, this is actually a really good warm-up to save your skin. It goes really quickly, and you don't even have to put your shoes on, So, my friend, how do I get better at sport climbing? I have no endurance, I'm a boulder bro. Well, you're only gonna get better in something that you actually do, When you're doing bouldering a lot, well, you're gonna be a boulder bro. As simple as that. If you want to get endurance, you have to climb endurance stuff. That would be my advice. Okay, if you really want to force it in a bouldering gym, then I would send you on to 20-minute, 30-minute traverses and stuff like that. You're simply gonna search for a not so steep wall, kind of vertical with a lot of holes. A lot of different holes, a lot of different hole sizes as well, so that you can rest when you have the feeling, okay, you need a rest now. Never no hand rest, of course, because that kind of defies the purpose of it. But and then keep just traversing. Just keep shaking off the pump, keep traversing, keep going with the soft pump, the oxygen pump, so to say, not the hard lactic acid pump, which is actually more of a power endurance training stimulus, And this is how you can basically train endurance also on a bouldering gym without having to go on the rope, but still going on rope is the best training for endurance and stuff like that. Simple as that. So you warm up for Digeridoo. Manuel just left, so I can't tell you that one. But he's actually pretty skilled on this Digeridoo thing, on this small Digeridoo thing that he has there. It's pretty cool. Wann werden die Haare wieder rasiert? You mean the head hair? When do I shave my hair again? I don't think for a longer time. I don't know. It works quite well how it is nowadays, how it is at the moment. Hey, how long should I wait to hangboard? Now that's a question I get a lot. I would say I can't think of a reason why you should hangboard any sooner than maybe 2 years into your climbing experience, you know? And even then, I mean, you have to be aware of the fact that there are extremely strong climbers out there who never touched a hangboard, okay, in their entire careers. Why? Because they had the privilege to go on rock all the time and train on rock, okay? So the hangboard is not necessarily a tool for progression in climbing. I would say it is rather a a means of bridging time gaps when you can't get on the outdoors, or when you can't do whatever you want to be good at. It can be competition climbing as well, I mean, although I'm not really sure how you could in any way mimic competition climbing on a hangboard, because competition climbing is very complex with all the coordination and stuff. But I use the hangboard these days most of the time just to bridge gaps in between times where I can't get to climb either here on the wall or outdoors. That is simply it. Damn, the chat just jumped down. Now I have to search it again. How good should it be after a half year of climbing? Wie gut sollte man nach einem halben Jahr ungefähr sein? Again, this depends highly on the genetics. I have answered this one already. Have you been in Frankenjura? With you at the wall, the audio is not that good. Okay. Then I will just talk when I'm in front of the laptop here. Have you been in Frankenjura? Yes, I have been 2 times actually. I think it was 1 week each or something. Excellent area. I really love it. I really love the short bouldery stuff, and I'm also quite good on pockets naturally, because I have quite thin fingers. I think at least that's the reason. I don't know really why, but yeah, I'm quite okay at pockets. So that was kind of a cool experience. Bouldery, pockety stuff, really not a lot of clips and stuff, really raw climbing. That's why I like the area. Ever climbed in the United States? Ever climbed in the United States? To visit it, honestly, at some point. But yeah, it's very far away, and yeah, it's a little bit of a hustle, but maybe I'll get there at some point. It would be cool to see Yosemite and all this cool stuff. What do you think is the most underrated exercise for climbing? Most underrated exercise, maybe still all the calisthenic stuff. The calisthenic stuff is real. I don't see a lot of climbers do that, but honestly, if you can't do a proper front lever, I would say, and a proper planche at the same time, then you probably still have a little bit of potential, when it comes to body strength that is useful for climbing. I definitely always, when I progress at the front lever and the full planche and stuff like that, I can feel it on the wall afterwards when I progress there a little bit. It's kind of a double-edged sword, because these things also make you heavier. And I think that actually a lot of the reason why I look a little bit, bulkier nowadays is actually because I do a lot of these exercises as well, because I simply like it. I like this kind of training. But I can also feel it, when on all these super steep bouldery climbs where there's a lot of body strength involved, I can really feel the additional gains, in body strength. Although I have to say I can also feel the additional weight. Might also have something to do with what I eat these days and stuff like that. So yeah, can't really generalize that here. Don't answer the dumb questions. Of course, I never answer dumb questions. Manny, how can I heal hand skin faster? Man, eat good foods. A lot of people ask me about skincare all the time. Skincare is maybe one of my most requested videos, and I still didn't do it because honestly, I don't use anything. I don't use no creams or anything. I only use sandpaper and nail clipper. That's it. Sand clipper, sandpaper, nail clipper, and a freaking brush for cleaning your dishes. Okay, this is a very cool tip that I can give you here. You're so lucky today because you're watching the stream and you're getting this tip. If you are washing your dishes still by hand, getting into all the wet and watery stuff, and then also the kind of chemical stuff that you use for washing it, which I don't use anyway, but I still don't like, getting into this. When you have a lot of climbing skin and this is getting really moist and stuff, it peels off and all that. It's not good for the skin, okay? If you want to preserve your skin, you have to get this kind of brush that you can use to clean your dishes from the distance, so that then you don't have to touch it when it's wet and stuff like that. So this is actually a pretty good tip to preserve your skin if you're washing dishes. So this is one tip I would say. And apart from that, just use sandpaper. If you have splits and things, hard skin going away from your fingers and really sticking out, and you could rip that off or something like that, just don't rip it off, clip it off, and then go over it with the sandpaper. This is the stuff that I do. And actually, when I think about, now that you're mentioning it, my last split is really, really, really long ago, actually. I haven't had a split for a long time, which is kind of obvious for the right hand because I wasn't able to crimp really small things with my right hand now for a long time. Now that the finger is healed again, it is possible again. But for the left hand as well, I didn't have any splits or stuff like that. Maybe it has also something to do with nutrition a little bit, You've said for beginners it's best to train with a more open grip. I struggle to hold myself like that for any period of time. How should I build this up? Good question. The thing with the open grip and the crimp grip, when it comes to my training experience, I've coached a lot of people now in the meantime, and I've also coached a lot of beginners. I hang them on some edges just to see how they are conditioned, how they are conditioned in their head, to grab these edges. Because there's these two types, Actually, there's three of them. There's the half crimper, okay, who would go instinctively for the half crimp on one of these edges. Then there is the open gripper, the fully open grip dude, who goes for the 3 fingers open instantly. And then there is the 4 fingers open guy who would go for 4 fingers instantly. But after my experience, most people either fall into the half crimp category or the full open category, the 3 fingers open category. And, if you're just not that kind of guy, if you're just not the open grip guy, there's a good chance that you will be stronger on the half crimp always, okay, throughout your whole entire climbing career. Doesn't change the fact that there are still holds out there which can be better held on the 3 fingers open grip. So it makes sense to train it as well, to get it at least up to the level that you can get it to, basically. But there's nothing wrong with having a preferred grip type. For some people, this is the half crimp grip, simply. Still doesn't mean that you have to go full crimp all the time, especially indoors, which you shouldn't do, in my opinion, especially when you're a beginner, because as I said previously numerous times, all these structures, the joints, the tendons and stuff like that, they are not used to this stuff. So, I would say from my point of view now, if you're the 3 fingers open guy, you're actually lucky because you might save yourself a lot of injuries in the long run, and also instantly when you're starting out. How can you get better at the 3 fingers open grip? Take a lot of holds, that require a 3 fingers open grip. Slopers, pockets, stuff like that, slots. Wollte nur mal anmerken, dass ich die Videos toll finde und denen man den kompletten Durchstieg sieht. Greets aus Bayern. Okay, so here's a Bavarian guy telling me that the uncut descents are awesome. Yeah, it's really cool to get these done. The uncut descents, I love making them. It's actually, there's a little bit of luck involved, okay? If you want to get a good shot, for example, the last one that you've seen from the machine head descent, this 8B, this was a pretty lucky coincidence because the guy who was filming me was actually filming another person, and I just happened to made a try essentially while he was up there, and he asked me if he could film me, and I just said yeah, why not. I didn't really expect to make an ascent, for this try, but it just happened to work out, just this one ascent, and that's why I got a nice shot from above. Normally I always put the camera on the floor and I just select 4K in my recording settings, and then I can at least zoom a little bit in, and get a bit of an idea of the hold quality and stuff like that. But of course, filming from above is always the best. It's always, it how should I say? It gets across the feeling of the climb a lot more directly and a lot more realistically. You can see the face and everything, how hard it is and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of luck involved to get these shots. And if you want to plan it, it's a lot of effort because you have to get a guy up. You don't always climb it, the first try that a guy is up. So maybe the guy has to go up more often. But again, as I said previously, in the meantime, I'm pretty good at predicting my sense, so to say, when I have to climb down and when it's not too hard, when there's no low percentage moves really involved, then I can predict the climb ascend really well. Welche Kletterschuhe trägst du und welche bei normalen Schuhen? Und welche? I think this means which climbing shoe size do I use, and which climbing shoes I use in general compared to my normal shoe size. So my normal shoe size is actually 42 EU, I think. And at the moment I wear the 510 teams a lot, as I did in the past, especially on the steep climbs. I mean, on the steep climbs, on the steep bouldery stuff, I almost go exclusively for the 510 team. Although I recently received a new shoe, which I am testing out at the moment, which is actually pretty nice as well. I'm planning to do a little bit of a gear review on that. So stay tuned for that one. It's a really nice shoe as well. 510 team is in size 42 as well, because 510 seems to size their shoes pretty accurately when it comes to, climbing shoe size, street shoe size. When I go for Las Sportivas, for example, sometimes on the more vertical climbs where you need a little bit more toe support, I will go for katanas. And the katana I wear in, I think, 38.5 or something EU. So with the Las Sportivas stuff, you can really downsize, you can really downsize it. And it's not going to matter a lot. You still get in there. The rubber is very stretchy. You can stretch the shoe out, which is a double-edged sword again, because you wear out these shoes a lot quicker, I have the impression, compared to the 510 rubber. The 510 rubber is a lot more durable, but still has very good friction. That's what I like about them. What's your lifetime project, if you have one? Still, I don't have a lifetime project. Again, it would be cool to climb a 9A at some point. That's my lifetime goal, so to say, but I don't have a specific route that I have in mind for that. What do you think about Brexit? No politics. No politics, my friend, because otherwise we might get banned from YouTube, And we are good boys here. We are all good boys. Have you had any problems with your elbows? Tennis, golf, elbow, any tips for this? Have been struggling with tennis elbow for 4 months. Okay. Wait, we're gonna answer this in a second. I still have to do some moves. I think we're ready for the climbing shoes, actually. Enough warm-up campusing. So here he is, the 510 team, as you can see, with the stealth rubber. This is also what I'm using all the time when I train on the 45er. The thing is, I'm not a big fan of using my high-performance shoes on a training wall, because I simply want to use them for my projects, for my outdoor projects. But on this wall, because I set this wall myself, I put a lot of these wooden screw-ons on there, And the wooden screw-ons, with time, when you're using them a lot, they get really, really smooth and greasy, from the rubber from the shoes. And this, on the one hand, has the disadvantage that you slip off of these holes a lot, when you don't have the body strength. But on the other hand, if you have the body strength, it requires also more body strength to keep onto these footholds. And at the same time, they are not using off this rubber so much, So I don't know if that goes on camera, but these shoes, I'm wearing them for like 2 months already now, and they still have their original little tiny ridges there from the very first layer of the rubber, And this is only possible because I step almost exclusively wooden holes on this wall. I don't step the rough plasticky stuff. And I also only use them on very overhanging climbs, So only climbs where not a lot of body weight actually reaches the toes. And this is something that I would advise you to do as well, have a separate pair for, more vertical climbs where you actually have a lot of weight on your toe tips, which is very hard on the rubber. And then have another pair which is really soft for the more steep climbs, where it's just more about the feeling on the toe tips and where not as much weight reaches the toes. So anyway, what was the question that was asked? The thing with the tennis, golf elbow and stuff like that. Have been struggling with tennis for 4 months. 4 months! You're lucky, my friend. You're lucky, my friend. This golfer elbow that I'm having here on my left elbow, on the inside of my left elbow, I think I have it now for 2 years or something like that. Okay, 2 years. Again, the elbow injury video, one of my most requested videos. I would like to do it, but honestly, I don't really have the answers. My only real elbow problem that I've had over the years is this guy here, and I still wasn't able to heal it. It is not a problem, it doesn't hurt as so much that I can't climb. And in fact, once I'm warmed up, I don't feel it at all, okay? It just works. I can try my projects, I can go full power on all those crimps, on all those lock-offs, but only when it's cooling down, and also during the warm-up, I can feel that he's still there, the little tiny golfer elbow, he's still there, he didn't heal. And I do all the stretching, I do mobilize the stuff, every morning, every evening. But what can I tell you, man? These things take years. I don't know what has to happen in there until this tissue is adapted to these kind of forces or whatnot. I don't force it, I don't tape, I never tapes against all this stuff, I just follow my body, I just never go above the pain threshold. That's simply it, My body tells me what I can do with it, that's what I'm doing, and I don't go over that, I just simply, and I expect it to heal. Maybe it takes another year or two, but I just hope that it's gone at some point and that it is stronger afterwards. Simple as that. So in terms of stretching, by the way, classic hand down, stuff like this. And then once you're there, you can also try to twist your arm a little bit to get a little bit of an additional stretching. And then once you're there, you can also try to twist your arms a bit. I have the feeling that this is especially effective on the golfer, It's stretching the golfer a lot. But again, the question is that even good, Is it even good to stretch the tissue that is already inflamed and all that kind of stuff, I don't know. I'm just doing it because I have the feeling it's kind of, it feels good, It feels good to get a little bit, it's like a massage. It's really like a massage, massaging that tissue. Stretching is a little bit like a massage, And as massage feels good in that tissue, but I don't hold it forever, and I don't stretch it until it hurts super much, and I don't do all the ice stuff. I don't put it in ice baths and all that kind of stuff. I just don't think that's useful, It's a lot of effort, but is it useful? I don't know. Machst du noch das Clipping-Tutorial-Video demnächst? Do you do the clipping tutorial in the near future? Yes, I'm actually in the process of editing this guy at the moment. It's gonna be a little bit more of an elaborate video, so it may take a little bit of time, but yeah, let's see how it ends up to be. Should be a good one. Greetings from Toronto, Canada. Have been climbing for about 2 years, and I'm still not able to send 511. Now I have to bring up a grading scale to see how hard that actually is. I'm not a specialist when it comes to American grading. So 511, you tell me. 511. That is 6C. 6C, 511A is 6C, 511B is 6C plus or something along those lines. Yeah. Okay, no big deal. What type of workout would you recommend I focus on? Climb as much as possible, okay? In terms of climbing, there's so many disciplines, okay? There's indoor sport, indoor bouldering, outdoor bouldering, and then there's this whole competition stuff, which is really something completely different, okay? Decide what you want to get good at, and then do just that, okay? This is always going to be the best training for you. Apart from that, for example, if you want to get good at competition bouldering, you're gonna need a lot of jumping power. You know, you can do some jumping exercises to get that momentum. You know, to get the dynamic momentum in your legs going. It's going to be useful. This is absolutely not going to be useful for outdoor sports climbing, for example. For outdoor sports climbing, you need power endurance, and you need to be able to hold really, really small holds with really, really big distances, okay? So this is what you want for outdoor sports climbing, and also for outdoor bouldering, by the way, but without the strategy and without the endurance component, okay? You just want to be able to hold really, really small holds, really, really bad holds with really, really big distances, and without the endurance component most of the time, at least. Of course, there's really, really long boulder projects as well, as you know. But all these things, they are completely different, which is the reason why I am super impressed still by a guy like Adam Ondra, who managed to master all of these things, okay? So this is, for me, these things are different sports. They are really different sports. What type of workout would you recommend I focus on? I can only tell you, first of all, do as much as you can of the thing that you want to get good at. Sounds like you want to get good on rope outdoors. Most people who want to get good on rope outdoors do not climb enough on rope outdoors. As simple as that. And this is only understandable because we are not as privileged as all the sponsored guys. You know, we can't spend all of our time traveling around the world and you know, sending outdoor stuff. Most of us have jobs and do other stuff as well. Can you step to the side so I can take a good screenshot of the 45er? This is the 45er in all its glory. Okay, now I can do a screenshot. I had to drill every hole, okay, on this wall with the drilling machine to be able to screw it on, you know, because we don't have the fixed screws that you usually have on climbing walls, which is kind of cool because you can place them, you know, we can place them very individually as you like them. And you can get the whole density really high up. And as you can see, there's a lot of black spots still. That's because we should actually get some more holes in the future. And these black spots are going to be filled with these new holes. So it's going to be amazing. How many times do you do circuit training? Circuit training, what is that? Circuit training? Circuit training in terms of push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and then again push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and stuff like that? Not at all. This is not at all what I do. Circuit training in terms of climbing a boulder, getting back, resting, climbing another boulder, getting back, resting. Also not a lot, to be honest, at the moment. So, yeah, really actually zero. How should an overweight person get into bouldering? Why not? why not? There's quite chubby climbers out there who are really strong, so that's not it could be stronger, of course, if you're lighter. that's for sure. But yeah, it is not you don't have to be lean to be a boulderer. And now I'm gonna put on my climbing shoes and do a couple of moves. I actually have a pretty cool project. I invented a pretty cool project last time here on this wall. It should check in around 8A or something like that. And I actually wanted to try it during this session because it's got some pretty sick moves, I have to say. But I'm not sure how strong I am today because yesterday was actually a pretty rough day on the outdoors. Checked out the new 8C, very steep, very bouldery again, very tricky. And I actually could do all the moves already. So let's see how this one works out next time I'm there. These edges here. This guy here. Ooh. Yeah, still have to get my fingers used to that stuff. It is not easy. Really open holes you can't really, they're not really in cut, you have to hold them really actively. Oh. Yeah, doesn't feel so bad, I have to say. Doesn't feel so bad. It's quite tough, man. It's always surprising to me how hot it actually can be and still quite good to climb, in this gym. So let's check out the chat. Hangboard timer before or after lead climbing in the gym? I guess you mean hangboarding. Definitely after lead climbing. Definitely after lead climbing. If you hangboard before lead climbing, in my opinion, depends on what you're training during that lead session. If you're just going for the, for the oxygen pump, as I call it, where you have a soft pump in your forearms and not a hard one, which would indicate more of a lactic acid pump, a more power endurance thing. If you're just going for the oxygen, then you can do it after a hangboard session, okay? And you can first do the hangboard session to get your full power for the hangboard session, and then do the lead climbing, the soft endurance stuff afterwards. But if you actually want to go to your limit during this lead climbing session, I would never do a hangboarding session before that, okay? I would just go do the hangboarding session afterwards, especially if the lead climbing session, I have the feeling that it was not good enough. I didn't earn the upcoming rest day. And then I would do the hangboard session, to just finish myself off. But if you're already getting pretty destroyed during the lead climbing session and you've earned a rest day, then you can do the rest day. This is always the things that I'm telling my trainees, if you're earning your rest day, you actually should go for the rest day. You're only getting stronger on the rest days, The rest days is what makes you stronger. And I believe this is something that I did wrong for a very long time during my training career and my training efficiency, so to say. I didn't do enough rest days, okay? But it's also, I was able to climb, and keep climbing, in the gym. Especially in the gym where you really want to build up some stuff, you should get your rest days in. And when you're on a trip, it's a different story because you want to climb as many routes as possible, and you're also a bit dependent on the weather, You just have to climb according to the weather, and if there are 7 days of good weather, you want to go for the 7 days of climbing if you can, So it's always depending. Bouldering won't help a lot with weight loss, and it will be harder when you have extra weight to haul up a problem. But if you enjoy bouldering, go for it. Definitely true. Bouldering won't help a lot with weight loss. Yeah, bouldering builds some really cool muscle, and muscle burns a lot of calories. Just simply holding muscle onto your body, for your body to be able to uphold a lot of muscle costs a lot of energy. So, in terms of weight loss, I'm not sure if it's so bad for weight loss. How do you hold back in training to avoid injuries? Or do you go all out in every session? Ideally, I go all out in every session. I don't hold back because I'm afraid of injuries at all, okay? Again, I said this previously, in the meantime, I welcome injuries because injuries show me that I actually got so strong that certain structures in my body are not able to resist these forces anymore and have to go in a little bit of an inflammation mode to tell me to reduce it a little bit, to give it time to to make these cells divide a little bit faster, to make it synthesize these strings of collagen a little bit faster, a little bit more, a little bit stronger. In my opinion, climbing injury, if you're getting stronger at all, it will happen inevitably unless you started with 6 years of age and didn't even notice the whole process, okay? And you're already super strong at age 20. But if you're starting past age 20, okay, when your body is already built up, and then introducing all these forces into your body, and you're getting stronger, you will run into injury inevitably, and you will have to give your body the time to catch up to these forces. It's simple as that. And it's going to show you, it's going to tell you by inflammation. This is the tool that your body has to go into your conscious, okay, to tell you, hey, something is not right there, it starts to hurt, and then you shouldn't go up beyond the pain threshold. Simple as that. And again, I think in the meantime, it's actually necessary to progress. I also have the feeling now, since the finger is pretty much back at 98%, I would say, I get this boost, I get this boost in power. It's amazing. You're coming back from an injury, and instantly you will feel that you get a little bit of a peak, just because you're back at full force again. You can use all this nervous system again, full force, 100%, and you're actually shooting above a little bit from where you were before that injury, okay? And this is what will, enable you to use that structure again, and even more than you've been able before. And this is why I believe injury is necessary to progress, man. Beyond a certain age, at least. Okay, so let's... Oh my god, it jumps down again. Okay, I have to scroll up a little bit because the chat jumped down again. Sorry. Sorry, here we are. Have you ever dealt with a wrist injury? Yeah, kind of. There was a time when I did all this handstand stuff, and I used the parallettes a lot for doing that. The things that you grab like this and you put them on the ground and you do a handstand on it. The thing is that these parallettes, they introduce kind of a strange force into your wrists, I have the feeling. And because of that, I developed a little bit of pain in my wrists, during all these handstand exercises and handstand push-ups and whatnot I was doing. It completely went simply on the floor, okay, to simply do all these things on the floor. The thing with the parallettes is they give you a little bit more leeway when it comes to balance. Because at the beginning, you're kind of a noob when it comes to balancing out the handstand, and when you want to push up, you will fall over simply most of the time in the beginning. And that's what the parallettes are good for, because they make balancing the handstand much easier, okay? And as well with the planche, by the way. But once you can get rid of the parallettes, I think that doing it on the floor is actually healthier for your wrists, because the pushing against something is a more natural movement for your wrist. And the thing went away completely since I'm able to do all these things on the floor, on the ground. So yeah, this was kind of something that I had in my wrist. Other than that, not a lot. I will say that some people have problems with the 4 fingers open grip, where the pointer is straight and the pinky is straight, and these 2 guys are a little bit bent. Because when they hang from a straight edge, okay, which is something like that, straight down, as you can see, sometimes they have to kind of strangely bend their wrist, to make this thing work. Because it's simply how this depends on the length of their fingers, I suppose. And when your pinky is very short, for example, then you really have to bend your wrist up to kind of make this work. And this has gotten some people into trouble, I know for a fact, in terms of wrist injury. So they felt this stuff after some time, when they hangboarded and all that stuff on the 4 fingers open grip and always introduced this force into the wrist, then they kind of had a bad feeling about it. And I suppose this is because of the strange hand position that you have during this stuff. So this is why I would recommend to go only for, when you're hangboard training, either go for the half crimp, which really enables you to get a straight grip, and also the wrist is hanging down vertically from there, or the 3 fingers open grip, which is also going to enable you to really hang straight down. 4 fingers open grip is really good, sometimes good for campusing and stuff like that, but for hangboarding, How did fasting improve your climbing? Fasting doesn't really improve your climbing, okay? Being light improves your climbing a lot, okay? Being light, there is nothing, at this point, if you're decently close to your genetic potential, okay, there is nothing that will give you so much in climbing improvement than losing weight. This is just the sad truth, man. This is the sad truth about it. To get more finger strength and push your limit that way, if you're close to your limit already, is extremely hard, extremely time consuming, extremely, a lot of effort. It's much easier to simply fast for 3 days, get rid of 2-3 kilograms, okay, and get an insane performance boost out of that. So you're not really improving your climbing, your technique skills or your power, by doing that, but you simply strip off some weight for a short period of time. I mean, there is really nothing better in terms of, if you know the weather is going to be good at a certain day, you're going to be close to your project, you're actually fit and in shape, but you're a little bit too heavy still. A little bit of a fast, man. Get a little bit of weight off, close to your limit, even 1 kilogram or 2. If you can get rid of 2 kilograms, that's a whole world, man. That's a whole world. You're going to feel on your limit project, you will feel differences like 200 grams. I'm absolutely certain about that. There was this one project where I always had to carry 2 quick draws up because I had to get them on. What's the weight of 2 quick draws? I don't know. It's not a lot, okay? But I could feel these freaking 2 quick draws on the crux crimps, because they were so small. So really, it's about 100 grams and stuff like that. If you can get rid of any weight counts, okay? It's just a sad truth, and this is why a lot of people have to be careful, because otherwise they get into eating disorders and all this kind of stuff. So you don't want to take it to the extreme, you know, but you should be aware that this tool exists and that this tool is actually a lot more effective. This is one of the most effective tools that you have to give yourself a short-term boost a little bit. And I'm pretty sure that the pros are aware of this as well. Although you never see this, you know, on the videos, and they usually don't talk about it, you know. But just seeing how freaking lean they all are during these competitions and stuff, and also photos, you know, from people doing their limit projects, 9Bs and stuff. I mean, they are lean as hell, man. So they condition themselves as well, pretty roughly, and definitely with nutrition, you know, by, you know, restricting calories, you know, having eating windows and all this kind of stuff. Maybe also fasting. So this is how fasting can help you a lot. And again, I've talked previously about why I personally find that fasting is healthier and more natural than, for example, going on a calorie restriction diet where you still have a high eating frequency. Okay, I've talked about that previously. Do you give courses? Yes, I do. Thanks for sharing your knowledge with the community. It certainly helped me too to step up my game quite a bit. What do you think is the best way to make proper gains in finger strength? 1 arm max. 1 arm max, I suppose 1 arm maximum hangs on the hangboard. Honestly, the best way to improve your finger strength, outdoor bouldering. Outdoor bouldering. If you have access to an outdoor bouldering area, you're pretty much set with finger strength, okay? I would prefer an outdoor boulder session over a hangboard session anytime. Especially here where I live, where it's limestone outdoor bouldering with these really weird, strange problems, which are super finger strengthy, you know, which is super small, strange holes where you really have to sort every little finger in and then go full on to those greasy limestone holes, you know, which you have to hold really actively and all that kind of stuff. Here, I would say, where it's all about small holes, nothing can give me that big finger strength boost in a couple of outdoor bouldering sessions, you know. This is also why I still try to incorporate them in my training. I get outdoor boulder sessions in whenever I can, you know, whenever I'm around the bouldering area, just, you know, hopping out of the car. Ideally, you have some crash pads lying around there already under some rock or something. Get out, 1 hour, you know, just a quick session, 1 hour, touching a few holes. I remember my first outdoor bouldering sessions close to Vienna in this area called Merkenstein, where it's really all about the small holes, you know, the small greasy limestone stuff. And I couldn't even lift off my ass from the ground, okay? I couldn't even lift off. God damn, I was pretty frustrated. But the thing is, I touched a few holes, you know, and just by trying to pull myself off the ground, next time I went there, I already could feel such a boost in finger strength. I didn't even do a lot of moves that session, okay? Just by grabbing these holes and trying to really lock them down and stuff, your nervous system is going to get a whole nother level of, you know, taking the force of your forearms into your fingertips. And this is what you want for finger strength, okay? So number one thing, outdoor bouldering, in my opinion. And after that, of course, bouldering on a 45er like this is also going to be really useful if it is set well, you know, with a lot of tiny edges and pockets and stuff like that. And of course, hangboarding, you know, hangboarding on really small edges. Rather go for the small edge than for bonus weight, okay, in my opinion, if you don't have any injuries, because small edges can be quite injury-inducing. Simply, I want to thank you for the nice channel and the clear advices you give. Greetings from Linz. Greetings from Fürstenfeld, my friend. Are you excited for the Olympics? Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big follower of competition climbing, to be honest. I like the competition bouldering simply because of the weird problems that they sometimes pull out. It's kind of creative. That's what I like about it. The Olympics, I mean, the format, you know the format is kind of strange, in my opinion, to put speed climbing in there and stuff. I mean, it's kind of interesting because all these athletes now have to train new stuff and all that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm probably gonna watch it. But am I excited for it? It would be a little bit of an overstatement, maybe. How's the finger? 98% back. Okay, 98% back. Good question. Exercise. Okay, I don't know. Mani, wie trainierst du für die härtesten Sloper am Beastmaker 2000? Die mittleren gehen gut, aber bei den härtesten habe ich gar keine Chance. Wie kann ich diesen Übergang trainieren? LG. So there's a guy asking me about the hardest sloper on the Beastmaker 2000. Talking about the Beastmaker 2000. Let's check it out. Up here, we have a Beastmaker 2000, okay? So the slopers he's probably going to talk about are these ones there. So these are the hardest slopers. Now the trick to be able to hold the Beastmaker 2000 hardest slopers, in my opinion, don't even try to hold them openly, okay? You actually can hold them half crimp mode. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to demonstrate that, but I can try, okay? Because you actually can hold these slopers like that. Can you see that? Okay. So this way you're getting a lot more finger strength onto these slopers, and you will be able to hold them a lot easier compared to when you want to hang them fully. At least that's my experience, okay? It's also a thing that not all beast makers are equal. You know, some beast makers are a little bit rougher than others, and then there is all of a sudden it's a lot easier there. Conditions matter a lot as well. Also, the skin that you have in that certain moment matters a lot as well, because you have this kind of, you know, smooth, hard skin because you had a good outdoor climbing day the days before or something. It's going to be also a lot harder. But if your skin is really soft, then try to go for the half crimp grip on the slopers. And yeah, that's it. It's also going to be a lot easier if you lock them close to the next sloper, you know, because then you get the friction from the side wall. And of course, it's a little bit of cheating, if we're honest. So if we want to have the full training effect, so to say, we want to hang it cleanly. But anyway, we're talking and talking and talking already 1 hour into this live stream. Man, time flies by. I have to do a few moves on the wall, at least. You're pretty busy asking questions today. Nice. I like it. Taking a jog back. Let's try this boulder again. That's actually the crux move. Pretty dynamic crossover from these two super active open edges onto this kind of good in-cut yellow edge up there. Okay, this one here. I don't know if I can point it out to you. I think it's this one. Yeah, I think it's this one. This guy. This one. And it's really crucial to keep your feet on. If you're losing your feet, it's over. By the way, what do you think about my absolutely epic construction here? So, you know, this is a kind of a stick from a you know, thing that you use to clean stuff. I don't know how it's called. Maybe we have a nice little toothbrush on there. So this is how you improvise, you know. Good stuff. Oh, yeah, we're getting closer. Let's try the first few moves again. And I will maybe show you a little bit of a close-up of the holds, maybe. This move is pretty hard as well. Yeah. It's getting better. It's getting better. Let's check out the holds. So first of all, I'm gonna start down there. This pinch there. This guy here. And big move onto this guy here. Just this really open, really open round thing. Let's get the steepness correctly here. And we're gonna go up here at this guy. Okay. Super active hold as well. And here. Left hand. It feels kind of like doing a 45er, system wall video with you guys. But just so that you have an impression on how these holds look like and feel like. So let's take a look at the chat again. Are you interested in doing big walls? Yes, at some point, maybe later, I don't know. I have to get the right shoes for it still, and I have to improve my slab skills a little bit, okay? I definitely have to improve my slab skills because I'm not the best slab climber, and yeah. Have you heard or maybe been in Basler Jura? 9A, Shogun or Ravage, 8B plus/C. Adam and Megos went there. Never heard of it. Sounds interesting. Good skin is good genes and not being old. Haha, but seriously, skin thins as you age. I agree with the good genes. I definitely agree with the good genes. There's just guys out there. I mean, I shook those hands. This is just crazy. The whole hand, is basically just a one big callus. It's like, wearing gloves all the time. That's how it feels like. Age, when I think about it, most of these people that had this incredible skin were actually a little bit older than myself. I think nutrition plays actually a pretty big part in it as well. Do you know how to progress from doing 1 rep of 1 arm pull-ups to 2 reps, as I have plateaued and can't seem to get stronger? Thanks. Keep struggling, man. Keep doing it. Progress form for 1 arm pull-ups. I mean, the question is how important are 1 arm pull-ups really, Quite some time ago, I actually started to, wait a second. Okay. Quite some time ago, I actually stopped training the 1 arm pull-up on a bar. Since then, I only do 1 arm pull-ups on the hangboard. Okay, I try, because obviously I'm not able to do them on the smallest edges, which would be pretty cool. But a 1 arm pull-up doesn't really help you a lot if you can't do it on a very small hold, okay? On a hold other than a jog, in my opinion. So yeah, how to progress from 1 to 2 repetitions? Just keep training, man. Keep training. I have only climbed 2 times ever, and I'm trying a V2. Is that good? I don't know, man. I don't know. Yo, Manu, what do I do about that pesky climber's elbow? I've been doing it all, and it keeps coming back. Yeah, because it still wants to be there, okay? It still wants to be there. It won't disappear just because you're doing all the stretching and doing all the corrective exercise and stuff like that. It still has to, grow. It still wants that cell to keep that inflammation going, to eventually make this tissue stronger at some point. And again, it can take years. I have this golfer elbow in that left arm for at least 1.5 years already now. Okay, and it's still not gone. It doesn't bother me while I'm climbing, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you, climbing gods, that I can still climb with this slight injury all the time. Please don't make it worse. But as long as it's not satisfied with the progression, with the tissue, it won't stop. Simple as that. Hey Manny, what are your current climbing goals? Getting back to 100%, sending HC again would be cool. I checked one out yesterday, actually, in fact, and I did all the moves basically in the first session, which was pretty awesome. It's quite tough though. It's quite tricky, a bit condition dependent, so I don't know when I can send it. But yeah, getting back to max grade, and then getting definitely I want to try some 8C plus stuff during this autumn, especially when the conditions get good again. Oh hey, he skipped my question. Ask again, please. I'm not sure which question you mean. Damn, it's a lot of questions. Hey Manny, I'm a climbing newbie from Florida, and I'm working on a problem with an extremely slippery foothold that prohibits me from a high reach. Any recommendations? Thanks and much respect. Body strength, man. Body strength. Slippery footholds and big moves, big moves on slippery footholds. It's all about body strength and also, the right shoe. It sounds like you need a hard shoe for that move, okay? Something that has a little bit of toe support. Something that has the friction to still step on that slippery foothold, And yeah, that's all I can tell you, man. But any more strength and less weight will help, okay? If you can get a little bit lighter, it will help. If you can get more finger strength, it will help, because your brain won't be as occupied with your fingers, and you will have more time to think about the toe down there, still stepping that foothold, Can all finger injuries heal, or are there ones climbing related that will never heal properly? Well, I guess if you are ripping apart a pulley, finger pulley and stuff like that, and you're not going to go to have surgery to sew it together again, I don't know, maybe that can still heal somehow. Yeah, I have no experience with that, but I wouldn't go so far to say that all climbing related finger injuries can heal. Hey, yeah, Manny, what do you consider a good goal grade for the first year of outdoor sport climbing? First year of outdoor sport climbing? Man, really, these questions are unanswerable, because again, it depends a lot on your age, on your genetics, and all that kind of stuff. But I would say if you have decent genetics and you're not super old already and stuff like that, I mean, let's say you're in your 20s and have decent genetics, and you only have time for climbing, and you have 1 year of time, I think you should be able to reach 7A, honestly. Okay, you could reach 7A. It's not going to be super easy, but you could reach 7A, definitely. Hello from Russia. Hello from Austria, man. Greetings. Hey, Manny, I really like your channel. Great work. Keep up. No problem, I will. Hey, congrats on 7K. Do you have any tips to train endurance in the bouldering gym? I have about 1 month to get my endurance up and no access to a climbing gym, but can boulder 3 to 4 times a week. Traversing on vertical traverses, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes on the wall, just shaking. That's going to increase your aerobic endurance a lot. And when it comes to the anaerobic endurance, which is more lactate related, get on the 45er and do some circuits, do 20 move boulders and stuff like that. And, with short resting times. So 4x4s and stuff like that, really simple, just getting there, getting the hard pump that's going to train your power endurance, getting the soft pump that's going to train your aerobic endurance. You can actually train these really well in a good bouldering gym where you have access to these kind of training walls. How can I improve on route reading? Experience. Experience. Are you a Trump supporter? No politics, as I said before. No politics, please, or we don't want to be kicked off of YouTube. Thank you for the live stream. It rescued me from a boring evening. Oh man, I'm so glad I can do this for you, my friend. Are you naturally stuck up, or do you work at it? I don't know what that means, honestly. Jamie time, I agree. He's a little full of himself. Definitely, man. Definitely. Sorry. I try to work it. I really try to work on it, actually. I really try to work on it, my friend. But hey, I was actually quite nervous before starting this live stream because I haven't live streamed a lot, So now I'm kind of rolling. Works well. But it's not like, yeah, I'm just going to do this now. I'm so awesome and stuff, I'm still vulnerable. Please don't insult me over the internet. It means so much to me. I want to do dino climbing well. Could you give me a tip? Jumping power and experience. Do a lot of dinos, and also don't shy away from all the coordination stuff and stuff like that. I was avoiding that stuff for a long time because I wasn't able to do it right, and I failed a lot at it. I wasn't good at it simply, so I avoided it. But now that I tried it a little bit in these more modern bouldering gyms, it's actually quite fun, and you get better quite quickly. As with anything new that you do, okay, you get better at it quite quickly, and soon it becomes rewarding. Soon it starts to be fun. So if you want to get good at at jumping, at doing dinos, well, you should dino a lot, and you should definitely hope that you're damn tall, have a little bit of reach, okay, because all this stuff matters actually a lot when it comes to dinos. So let's go. Congratulations for the 70K. Guys, talking about the 70K, I don't even know if I already thanked you. Normally I do these kind of thank you videos where I say, hey, you're so awesome, stuff like that. Please keep watching the channel and all this kind of stuff. But for this time, I thought, because there is actually quite good internet in this climbing gym, and in the evening, now it's already 22 o'clock here in Austria. It's quite late. There are no people in this gym, which means it's kind of quiet. I can train and I can do this live stream on the go, so to say. So I thought, hey, why not make a 70K subscriber Q&A live stream with a little bit of training in there? And yeah, so far works out quite well. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the 70K. Really awesome. Yeah, it's still fun. It's still fun, I have to say. Still fun to be a YouTuber. Broski, what your biceps measurement? I don't know, my friend. I haven't measured. I never measured it. Good for you to be able to say I don't know, man. Yeah, just like I said, just like I said. Yeah, some things I simply don't know. You gave good advice so far today, Manny. Thanks for taking the time to share. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Research says that eccentric movements are the best for healing tendinopathy. Maybe. Could be. Have you climbed in Burg Mutzsteg in the Steiermark? Turm 5 is super nice. I think I was in Burg once, yeah. I think I was in Burg once. It's actually a long time ago. What grade were you able to send after 1 year of climbing? None, because I haven't climbed somewhere where there were grades after 1 year of climbing. I spent my first 3 years of climbing in a super old school bouldering gym where just everything was set like this wall behind me, and I just did some moves basically that I had fun with, did some hard moves and stuff, and that's my first 3 years of climbing. After 3 years, I went out for sport climbing, I didn't have any experience with outdoor bouldering for a very long time. Unfortunately, I have to say, from my today's point of view, because I think outdoor bouldering is actually a pretty big, has a potential to really give you a boost in terms of your development, more so than anything else. But anyway, I started with outdoor lead climbing. And in my first year of outdoor lead climbing, I think after the first year, I was already in the 7C or something, 7C area. But I had a lot of this boulder power, from the climbing gym. And here in East Austria, it's a lot of bouldery routes, It's a lot of bouldery stuff, even on the lead climbing, and that's why that helped me a lot, I have the feeling. Congrats on the 70K, brother. I'll be there till 10 million. If this channel ever hits 10 million, I would be very surprised, to say the least. Cheers from the Netherlands, man. Any particular sport cracks in Austria that are worth a visit? Oh, a lot, man, a lot. There's good stuff in Styria. There's good stuff in Lower Austria. And there's definitely good stuff in Salzburg and Tirol and all that kind of stuff, like Zillertal, Ötztal, Schleierwasserfall. When it comes to East Austria, Adlitzgräben and that kind of stuff, pretty cool stuff. When it comes to Styria, Grazer Bergland, Grazer Bergland, good stuff. Have you ever had fear of falling in lead rock climbing? Of course. I was full, my pants were full, man. The first few goes outdoors, I had no idea about, belaying and falling, about dynamic belaying and that kind of stuff. Learning by doing, it was back then, learning by doing and, going through some fears and going through some falls, essentially, okay? The more falls you can do without having a negative experience, the less fear you will have in the long run. One negative experience, though, can ruin thousands of falls with good experience, okay? So it's really important that you always have good experiences, which means that you have to have a reliable climbing partner, a reliable belaying partner, okay? Someone that knows your weight, knows his own weight, knows how to belay dynamically and all that kind of stuff. You want to avoid negative experiences at all costs when it comes to falling and climbing. Because really, there's people who injured themselves once and stopped lead climbing for the rest of their lives, okay? So this is the power that one negative experience can have sometimes. This is something that you have to be aware of, avoid negative experiences. I've been climbing for months, starting to get stiff fingers more often, especially mornings. Is that pretty normal if you're climbing harder? Stiff fingers, I don't know. How old are you? For me, I can say I don't have stiff fingers in the morning, especially not after rest days, okay? After rest days, your fingers should feel as if you're not a rock climber, okay, so to say. I mean, of course, you will always feel that your fingers have grown a little bit differently since you've trained that stuff, which is only natural. But it goes away after a couple of rest days, usually, okay? So, yeah, that's what I can say to that. Have you ever had fear of falling in lead climbing? Yes, of course. I started with my pants full. Did you do any mistakes at the beginning that you would avoid nowadays? Yes, not getting into outdoor bouldering soon enough. This is one big one, I would say. And other mistakes, maybe not getting into the outdoors soon enough, okay? I wasn't aware for a long time that there's even outdoor climbing in my area where I lived around Vienna. So I spent all this time in this gym, not even knowing what I trained for, okay? I mean, actually, I didn't really train in any way. I just did what was fun for me. But, yeah, finding my discipline that I actually want to get good at a little bit sooner would have helped a lot, obviously. And this is also something that I recommend to any beginners who come to me. Think about what you want to get good at. Do you want to be a competition climber? Do you want to be on television a lot and stuff like that? Or do you want to be the outdoor warrior who wants to increase his collection of routes, Because when you send an outdoor route, you can put it into your pocket and it stays there, That's quite an awesome feeling. I like that. I'm a collector's kind of guy, okay? I like collecting stuff. So, yeah, I like to collect these routes. And that's why I want to get good at outdoor route climbing. It's simple as that. And the sooner you know what you want to get good at, the sooner you can do as much of that as possible, which at the same time is also going to be your best training. And I know for the outdoor warriors out there that this is kind of a bummer, because we don't have endless time to visit all these crags and stuff. So you kind of have to get a little bit, creative here with hangboarding, with campus boarding, with things that you can do at your working space and stuff like that. And then it's getting tricky. And all that is part of this beautiful climbing game, for me at least. All this strategy, it's going into your success as well, quite a lot actually. How much time a week should you train power to see improvement? Damn, power, I guess. How much time per week should you train power as someone who started power training to see improvement? What do you mean by power? Max strength? Max strength, always after rest day, okay? Be as rested as possible in front of a max strength session. Simple as that, because only then you will have the jam, to activate those muscles, to activate those nerves and intramuscular coordination and stuff like that. And yeah, depends on how old you are, how old is your training age already, how long have you been training already, how good is your nutrition, how good is your sleep and stuff like that. But it's definitely possible 2 times a week, and the pros maybe train it 5 times a week, or I don't know, depends also on your recovery. But again, 2 times a week should be no problem to train max strength. That wall look way smaller. It's actually quite high, We weren't allowed to put holes up here into the last half meter of the wall because it's so high. I would have liked to put some holes there as well. Man, that would be cool. Maybe we can get some, a bigger mat or something later on, and then we can put holes up here as well, and even be able to top it out maybe. That would be really epic at some point, but we still have to, get a little bit more space here. This is actually quite a confined space in front of this wall, So, are you overtrained? Overtrained? I don't know. At the moment, I have the feeling that I'm enjoying it. Overtraining. I always used to say that overtraining doesn't even exist. At this point, I can say that if anything, overtraining is a psychological thing. Okay, if you're doing something for a very long time, then there will be phases where you just say, man, I don't want to do this stuff now again, again, going to the gym, again, doing the same moves and doing the same drills and all that kind of stuff. It's a psychological thing, and then you're overtrained. You don't actually want to do it. And this is the first symptom of overtraining, just this resistance that you can't train anymore because it's just so, your body rejects it kind of, your psyche kind of rejects it. So this is, what I believe overtraining is. Have I been overtrained according to these criteria in the past? Yeah, maybe at some point, there's times where you are not so psyched for this stuff, especially if you're just injured, the first time of an injury when you can't really go full on anyway because your body limits you with pain. Then motivation goes down, frustration goes up, then the psyche kicks in, obviously. That's not good in terms of overtraining, but now it's just the other way around, the finger goes up again, motivation goes up, frustration goes down, especially with the hard sands again, and then it's kind of a self-feeding process, the more you're able to sand, the higher your motivation gets, the stronger you get, and then you can sand more hard stuff, probably until you get injured again, and then it starts from new, and you just can hope that with time, as this curve goes up, that there is still a net trend upwards, and not downwards. So that's what I can say about that. Damn, I have to do some moves again. You're so diligent. I think diligent is the right word, right? You're so diligent in asking questions. I like it. Let's do some moves. I'm just gonna do a couple of easier moves now because I have to actually get my fingers warm again. So this would be an example on how you can actually train endurance, in a bouldering gym. 20 move problem, climbing up and down, 45-degree overhang, getting the power endurance going. So now I have to get out of these shoes actually. Sorry for the interruption. The cell phone is ringing. Ja, grüß Gott. Ja. Ich bin immer noch am Streamen. Ja, passt. Ich komme gleich. Okay. Ja, ich melde mich dann, ja? Passt, Alright. So actually we're going on a little bit of a trip today still. So we're starting to drive actually to Dordolla or Dordoia or I don't know how it's pronounced in Italian. It's Bella Italia. It's Friaul. I think the area is called Friaul, and there is the hut there. And from there's a lot of alpine stuff, actually a lot of alpine climbing, and we're starting the ride today night, and we should be there tomorrow noon or something, and yeah, check out the area a little bit and see how it goes. What do you think about moonboard? Oh, damn, freaking hell, the chat jumped down. I have to go up again. Freaking hell, you did a lot of questions already. Next time you're gonna have to introduce super chats, my friend, okay? So that I can see your chats, and then I'm gonna prefer the super chats, of course. That's at least what all the guys always say who want to earn some money with their live streams. How much time a week can I train to see improvement? What do you think about moonboard? You never talk about it, or I miss it. Awesome. Okay, a moonboard is basically a very systematic training board with lots of boulders on the internet where you have challenges, okay, that you can do. So that's basic. It can't get any better than that, okay? With a good moonboard, with a good hole setting, a couple of small holes, probably one of the best trainings that you can do indoors for outdoor bouldering and sport climbing, just as well as training on a wall like this, okay? 45 degrees overhanging, lots of small holes, ideally also some wooden holes, which really force you to get that body strength down, because otherwise you slip off, especially with your feet. So this is good training for outdoors, I would say. Not so much for indoor competition climbing, obviously, because where are the coordination moves on there? Where are the big slopers, the big volumes, the big double dynos and all that kind of stuff. You're not going to find this as much on these walls. But, for holding small holds, training for the outdoors, definitely good stuff. And also the moonboard, I'm pretty sure about that. Hey Manny, I'm just recovering from a capsule finger injury and I'm finding it hard to commit to crimpy moves, even easier problems. Have you experienced this? Any advice? I don't know. I don't know what this guy was here. Maybe that was a capsule injury. I don't know. But I suppose it wasn't because, the finger in its mobility and stuff didn't change at all. Listen to your body, man. Listen to your body. Wait until the pain goes down, okay? If you're still finding it hard to commit to crimpy moves because it hurts, then don't commit more to crimpy moves. Simple as that. And if it doesn't hurt, then you can start testing it out a bit, Go to the pain threshold. Don't be afraid to go to the pain threshold. Your body would be pretty freaking stupid to put the pain threshold somewhere where you would still injure yourself, okay? So I trust my body in that kind of sense, What you do is your thing, okay? You can also go to the doctor and do all kinds of stuff, do taping and whatnot. In my opinion, this is all noise in the signal that your body is trying to give you, okay? If you're putting a tape around your finger, this is noise and it doesn't really help you to get the message from your body, It reduces pain, possibly, it supports the tendons a bit, possibly, which is also not good, actually. The tendons should receive just exactly the force that they should receive when it comes to training, climbing and stuff. You don't want to take away from that because then these cells have a little bit of less stimuli to divide and all that kind of stuff, And you actually want that. You want them to synthesize these collagen structures and stuff. Hey Manny, how do you like to train technique? I'm a power climber and technique is what I need to work on. Technique? You're not gonna learn a lot of technique on a 45 like this, for example, apart maybe from backstepping, because this is very helpful in the overhangs in general, as I've talked about before. If you want to learn technique, probably outdoor lead climbing, okay? Outdoor lead climbing. Why? Because rock is always going to give you new challenges, okay? No route is the same. And with time, with experience, you will start to notice patterns, okay? You will notice that, on side pulls and pinchy stuff, backstepping is kind of useful. You will notice things like, sometimes I can, instead of making a foot switch and a backstep, I can just flag right away and save a little bit of time right there. And you will start noticing this kind of tiny mechanical differences between techniques. And this is something that rock tells you a lot, okay? Because rock, the creativity of rock is endlessly, okay? I've seen weirdest stuff on rock that never anyone could come up with, not bolting a route, but setting a route, okay? So this is really something rock experience, and maybe that's the reason why Ondra is so good at this stuff, at reading and, on-sighting and all this kind of stuff. This ties into this whole topic as well, very much. So much for that. For your info, always fun to see you climb, Manny, but equally fun to watch you enjoy your meals and recipes without talk on what's right or wrong. Humans are weird, and these two things are best in combo. Humans are really weird. Humans are weird, that's true. Happy 4th of July, bro. Big fan of yours. Nice. Thanks so much. Big holiday today. Lots of fireworks, food, and beer. You know what? I didn't even plan it out that way. But hey, have a good time. I didn't really notice that. Happy 4th of July, everybody there overseas, over the big lake. Servus Mani, any favorite climbing gym or for bouldering in Vienna or Austria in general? In Vienna, I like just my standard gym, the Edelweiss Center, which is this old school kind of gym where there's simply a lot of holes and a couple of routes, with color boulders and stuff like that. I just like it. I think it's a very sympathetic place, And when it comes to the more modern stuff, in Graz, the blockhouse is really nice, I think. When it comes to coordination moves and cool crew, and a lot of really high-level guys train there, actually. I didn't know that for a long time, but a lot of Slovenians train there because it's quite close to Slovenia, actually. And apparently the Slovenians, they don't really have a lot of these modern bouldering gyms, which is also something that's quite interesting, considering that a lot of really strong guys actually are from there, So, yeah, Graz, definitely good stuff when it comes to modern bouldering, blockhouse. This is what I can tell. Probably the new Innsbruck gym, the new super big mega gym in Innsbruck is very good as well, but I still haven't been there, actually, which is kind of a heresy considering that it's in Austria. Still have to go there, but yeah, I just haven't had the opportunity so far. Hey Manny, what's up? You're in great shape, bro. It's quite okay. Considering my weight, I am in pretty good shape, that's true. What's up, bro? You GD? I don't know what that means. Are you celebrating today? No, not really. Have you ever been inside of a woman? Guys, please. Okay, actually, Jada Pelma, I don't know if that's even a guy. A gentleman over here, okay? We don't talk about that stuff. Bro, how often do you reckon one should boulder per week, or in terms of hours, to stay at e.g. 6C French boulder level? How often do you want a boulder per week to stay on 6C? But what is your level to begin with? If 6C is your limit, you will probably have to keep bouldering like 2 times a week to hold that limit. If your limit is 7A or 7C or something, maybe 2 times a week, 1 time a week will be enough to keep a 6C grade. Do you do rope sessions, or do you focus on lead climbing every time? Do you do top rope sessions? Sorry. No, I never climb in top rope. It's just, I like the freedom of climbing in lead, because you don't have the rope in front of your face all the time, You can really focus on the climbing alone, and that's what I like about it. So, yeah, I really couldn't think of any incidents where I think I even started with lead climbing. The first time I touched rock, it was lead climbing. It was not top roping. So I really had a kind of a rough start in that sense, but at the same time it was kind of good, because I didn't even have the option, so to say, in my mind to actually go softer on the psyche and do top roping instead of lead climbing. Would you rather have loads of power and no technique, or loads of technique and no power? Loads of power and no technique. Definitely. If you have loads of power and no technique, you will still be able to get up some really crazy stuff, okay? Especially hard boulders and stuff like that. If you have no power and lots of technique, imagine a complete beginner, okay, who has no power, but has all the climbing technique in the world. Still, he wouldn't be able to even climb up this wall, okay? No chance, because his forearms just are not adapted to that kind of stimulus. So that's quite an easy one to answer. Congrats on 70K, Manny. I just want to say your videos are super inspiring and always motivational to crank out hard problems and get it done. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it, and I'm happy that you get something out of the channel. Any tips on keeping body tension during the climb? Get more body strength, man. Do some calisthenics, okay? Calisthenics. Front lever, planche. Front lever, planche. Back, front, okay? So this is essentially all you need. Of course, there's more stuff. You can do the handstand push-ups. You can do the one-arm pull-ups. All these calisthenic things, they're going to help you increasing your body strength in general, increasing your body tension in general. And I think there is no such thing, or not really such thing, like body tension endurance or something. Probably there is, something which you can only train when you do actually a lot of route climbing or route leading and stuff like that. Yeah. A broom. Yeah, that's right. I forgot that one. In which climbing hall in Vienna are you right now? I'm not in Vienna, I'm in Fürstenfeld. Wir haben nach Fürstenfeld. Okay, Fürstenfeld. It's a small little town in Styria, close to the Burgenland actually, also really eastern Austria. And there is actually a really sympathetic route climbing gym in this town, which also has quite a couple of bouldering options. And this guy back there, because we built it, okay? We built it. And now this is actually a pretty good place to train for outdoor sports climbing, I would say. For outdoor elite climbing, you can pretty much do anything in here, okay? That's pretty amazing. It's not so good for competition bouldering, for example, like that, because we don't have a lot of competition walls and a lot of competition holes even. But, for the other stuff, it's really good. Many isn't in Vienna anymore. Not a lot anymore. Yeah, that's true. Which one is your favorite one in Vienna? Favorite one in Vienna is the Edelweiss Center, as I said. Greetings from Madling. Madling. I actually used to live there, from age 6 to age 10, I think. I was in Madling. And even beyond that, I think. It's a district in Vienna, for those who don't know. Where is he now? Fürstenfeld. Yeah, that's true. I love your channel. I'm 30 years old and I started bouldering a year ago. I'm progressing very fast. Already did 2 V7, but I keep getting fingers and wrist injuries. Any suggestions? Progressing very fast already. Did 2 V7. Yeah, that's quite impressive. That's quite good. Yeah, well, normal. You're progressing fast in terms of muscular development, probably, and also coordinatively when it comes to nervous system and stuff like that. But it's only logical that slower developing structures like tendons and joints and stuff like that, they take a little bit more time to adapt to these kind of stimuli. So you gotta give it time, man. Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't go above the pain threshold. Okay. Let these structures adapt. Manny, big fan. What are your opinions on keto for performance climbing? Holy crap. Now you've opened up a big topic, my friend. I always wondering, I already was wondering when the diet questions come in, but keto diet for climbing, in my opinion, not good, okay? Since I've gotten into fasting, I also have a little bit of experience when it comes to ketosis, obviously, because when you're really fasting, you will be in ketosis. And I have to say, I had really good sessions already also during ketosis, during fasting forced ketosis, actually, okay? So not like eating down a lot of fat and being in ketosis that way, eating nothing and being in ketosis that way, okay? I had really good sessions doing that. And I suppose it's because there is no stress in your digestion, okay? You're really fresh, you're really clear, really sharp. You also got a little bit of adrenaline going, which is something that happens in general when you fast, okay? So this helps you in terms of performance. And obviously, you're lacking like a kilogram of food in your body, okay? So that's also gonna increase your performance in climbing significantly, as we've talked about before. Weight is a very big factor. But when it comes to when you don't want to lose weight, okay, you have to eat something, and eating in such way that you're in ketosis all the time, which is basically the definition of a ketogenic diet, is going to be trash for your performance, in my humble opinion. Now, there is going to be a lot of backlash from people saying, hey, I'm in the ketosis all the time, and you just have to go through the adaptive phase of 3 weeks, and after these 3 weeks, you're going to be keto adapted, and then you're going to crush. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. This would be such an easy fix, okay, for so many athletes. There's a reason why athletes always will go for carbohydrates, okay? Carbohydrate-fueled exercise exercise will make you have the most jam. And since climbing is not a purely endurance-based sport, you need carbohydrates there as well, in my opinion, to reach your full potential. Okay, if you are in a very aerobic endurance-based sport like ultra endurance runs and stuff like that, I suppose you can pull these off in ketosis on a ketogenic diet, and you would almost have no sacrifice in performance. But when it comes to max strength, when you have to have the jam in your fingers, when you want to get that crux move done, and you want to have access to carbohydrates, okay, you want to have that glycogen in your muscles to pull that off. This is my experience. So yeah, no big fan of ketogenic diets in general. The ketogenic diet is super unnatural, man. I mean, really depends, what is natural, what is not natural. I think the ketogenic diet, it has the potential to heal some stuff, okay? This is also why it was invented, by the way. I think for treating epilepsy, okay, people would see dramatic improvements in epileptic seizures on a ketogenic diet. I suppose because there is no sugar interfering with nerves in the brain or something like that, But when it comes to sports performance, man, and also, hard labor, hard work, these guys go for the carbs, man. It's carbs give you that jam in the, on max power moves. Have you had any luck with wrist curls for elbow tendon issues? No, haven't. I did wrist curls, and it didn't fix my golfer elbow that I have for about 1.5 years, okay, in here. Very slight, very mild, okay. It's not limiting my climbing performance, thankfully, so far. But I tried a lot of stuff consistently, and nothing did really any improvements. That's also why I can't really give you any advice when it comes to elbow injuries, Do you think that starting climbing at 14 years old is too late for being a very good climber? No, not at all. 14 years is very good, okay? 14 years is very early. I started at 17, I think, okay? So there is still a lot of potential. Obviously, you could already be climbing there for 6-7 years or something if you really wanted to push that on to the limit. So think about that for a second. You could already be a climber for 7 years if you're 14. So that's crazy. Adam Ondra sent his first 9A when he was freaking 13 years old, okay? So this is crazy, 13 years old 9A. So that goes to show how powerful it can be to simply start early. But again, good genetics, stuff like that matters a lot. And you're going to have good genetics for the rest of your life if you have them, okay? So, yeah, 14 years, definitely not too late, man. Start. I had right elbow pain for years. I slammed my elbow against the wall in one of my trucks in the United States several years ago. I had multiple MRIs over the years of this in X-rays of this right elbow. Yeah, okay. About the Tenaya Owazi, good shoe, man. It's kind of similar to the Katana, but only better, in my opinion. Hey Manny, do you had any experience about AC, acromyoclavicular joint sprain rehab for climbers? Clavicula is something with the clavicle here, I suppose. Acromyoclavicular joint. The acromion, I think, is up here, right? So this has to be something with the shoulder or something like that. Sprain rehab. No, I don't have any experience. I sprained mine 2 months ago and felt pain when I have to reach grips across my body. So when you're crossing over, I suppose, what can I do? Sorry, man, I don't know. I don't have any experience with this kind of injury. Again, I can only tell you, don't go beyond the pain threshold. Listen to your body. Don't do any crazy stuff, don't do, you can do and try to see if it helps, but don't do the ice and all that kind of stuff, Just let it be, just let it heal. Pain is great, but What's your current diet? Do you eat meat? Yes, I do eat meat. Now you have a new subscriber. Amazing, thanks. I appreciate that. Hey Manny, have you ever bolted a route? No, unfortunately not, although I would have liked to do that. If not, but it's something you would like to do, how would the line look like? Grade, style of climbing, type of rock or so? Would be really cool to just, what would be my, I think the least of a hustle would be a super vertical route on nice technical crimps and stuff like that, you know? I suppose bolting in a super overhang is super, you know, it's maybe not the best start in the game, so to say, because it's, you know, really strenuous and stuff like that. But yeah. I'm stuck at 60 plus bouldering since months. How can I finally get the 7A? Keep trying, man. And you know, it's also the thing, if you want to push your limit, if you want to reach a new max grade, finding something that suits your style and your body type is really crucial, okay? Especially if you're already close at your limit. This is super important, and often, you know, newer climbers don't really recognize that, you know, as a factor, but you have a certain type of body and certain problems are gonna suit you a lot better than other ones. And when it comes to outdoor climbing, you have to always keep in mind that rock doesn't give a damn, okay? Rock doesn't give a damn whether you're short, whether you're tall, whether your strength is crossovers or shoulders. It doesn't give shoulder moves. It doesn't give a damn, okay? It's just there. When we bolt, when we set routes for competitions, we have to keep in mind that we can't do a super big dyno which only the tall guys can reach, okay? So indoor problems are always going to be catered to the biggest audience, the biggest group of people possible. So that's why I don't really use indoor climbing as a means for how good someone is, okay? For me, it is about how much things can you send outdoors, okay? Because there, the rock doesn't give a damn, okay? You have to improvise. If it's not your style, then you gotta have to come up with some other means to get that problem done, okay? So this is really something that you have to keep in mind on outdoor climbs. Find something that suits your style if you want to push your max grade, and this becomes especially more important if you're already close to your limit. Yeah, so I'm stuck. What? Wie würdest du einen 8er Plus Kletterer beschreiben? Fortgeschritten, Durchschnitt, gut und so weiter. How would you describe an 8A Plus climber in terms of advancedness? Hard to say. That's kind of a broad question, man. An 8A Plus climber is already beyond grade 8A, and that means you gotta already has this decent experience, you know, has decent experience. Probably, I mean, 7As should be kind of easy, you know. 7Bs should be, this should be still in the on-site range, you know. 7Bs should be on-siteable, even 7B plus. Maybe 7C should be flashable and stuff like that. And 7C plus and 8A would be project. 8A plus max, yeah, something like that. It's hard to say, man. Have you been to Magic Woods, and do you have an opinion what the minimum grade you should be able to do to enjoy it here? Yes, I have been to Magic Woods actually 2 times already. I already made videos about that on the channel as well, about some boulders in that area. Cool stuff, granite climbing, really nice, a lot of edges, not so convenient grounding, you know, not so convenient in terms of, you know, padding and stuff like that. You have to be a little bit careful because a lot of these granite rocks are sticking out of the ground and you can break your back kind of easily if you're not careful. But in terms of the climbing, it's very good. And to enjoy it there, I mean, if you can boulder 8A, you will definitely enjoy it there. There's a lot of stuff in this area, you know, from 7A to 8A, a lot of 7Cs, as I remember, really classic ones, really good problems. But I suppose you would also enjoy it if you're not that strong, you know, if you're also in the 7A area. I suppose there's a lot of stuff. I can only speak from my experience. Back then, I was around 8A level, at 8A max when I was there, and that was a lot of fun, actually, because you can try a lot of stuff in that area when it comes to 8As. Why do we never see you do any competitions? I do some competitions from time to time, actually. Recently, I did a non-professional competition in Graz, and that was kind of fun, you know. Usually it's these sessions where you have like 40 boulders and you have 3 hours time to get as many boulders done as possible. And these are really good climbing sessions most of the time, because you're doing so many moves, and this is super good training, you know. But in terms of pro competitions, you know, like what's the name? How do we call it? Regional masterships and the Landesmeisterschaften and stuff like that. I don't know, man. I'm just not so I'm just not so psyched for it. I don't know. It's also really not my style, you know. A lot of these dynos, a lot of these also these slabby problems, and these. I would have to get a new set of shoes, you know, just for that kind of competition. And I'm not sure if I want to go that distance, so to say. What I will say, though, is that I am quite interested in attending a lead climbing competition once, which is something that I still didn't do, you know, something that's still missing on my list. So yeah, maybe I can do that one in the future. Thanks for your awesome videos. Respect. You're welcome, man. It's a pleasure to make them. How long do you suggest I rest between attempting bouldering problems? Well, if you want to go full on, rest 5 minutes, man. Rest 5 minutes. You can even rest so long that you almost get a little bit cold again, and then you have some kind of hangboard hanging there or something to quickly warm up your fingers again, and then you will actually have the most jam, you know. So this is when you want to have 100% on every attempt. But is this what you want? Do you want to train anything? You know, do you want to train power endurance, for example? Then make the rest shorter. What do you do when something hurts a bit for over a month? For me, it's the wrist. Keep climbing or rest. My opinion, keep climbing. Keep climbing below the threshold, below the pain threshold, okay? Only if something completely rips apart, or if something breaks, you know, some kind of bone or something like that, which requires you to either have surgery or wait until the structure somehow joins again, you know, grows back together again. Only then you should. Only then you should. Only then you should rest completely. What is your height? How important do you think height is overall? My height is 173, 1 meter and 73 centimeters. How important do you think height is overall? Important. Important. Let me put it that way. You know, I can't really say that it's an advantage to be short, because I have had so many incidences where it was definitely not an advantage to be short. Although I will say it is a lot easier to be very light when you're very short, obviously. But take a look at the very strong guys, okay? The time of very short, very strong guys is over, and it's probably going to stay that way in terms of outdoor rock climbing, okay? I have to take that back. In terms of outdoor rock climbing. When it comes to bouldering competitions, I'm always, again, surprised that there are still very short guys competing at a very high level there. But again, these boulders are set by humans, and they cannot discriminate between tall and short people, okay? They have to be at least relatively equally hard for all of the competitors. This is not so when it comes to outdoor rock climbing. Rock doesn't give a damn. And on outdoor rock, I would trade height and wingspan. Even wingspan might be even more important for a little bit of power anytime, okay? At my height even. And I think that the ideal height for outdoor rock climbing has to be somewhere around 176 or something, okay? 176, because then you can still be very light, you can still have huge arms with a lot of reach, you know, This is also something that we have in an example of Torsten. Torsten is like 175, 176 of height, and he has a wingspan of 186, okay, which is crazy. It's plus 10 ape index. I've demonstrated that in a recent video. It's a crazy how much more options he has from time to time on climbs, on outdoor climbs. So yeah, so much for that. You have to work with what you have anyway, okay? And if you're very short, yeah, guess what? Then big moves will never be your strength, okay? Try to avoid it. Try to find problems which suit your style more. And yeah, try to get hard stuff done that way. This is also how all the girls are doing it, by the way, okay? Girls, I think, are not still behind in terms of grades when it comes to outdoor, sport climbing, which they're catching up, by the way, anyway. But the reason why girls have a little bit of a harder time outdoors is simply because rock doesn't discriminate in height, okay? And simply it is the case that a lot of girls are very short in the climbing world, and they really at some point have to start selecting out these routes that they still can do with their limited reach, okay? Jota Mologa asks, can you explore the North Pole for me? Of course, my friend, I will, just for you. Do you think you will go pro? No. If I would be, there's people coming up to me and saying, yeah, you're earning money with climbing, so you're a pro climber. No, I'm not really making money with climbing. I make money with making videos and giving courses and all that kind of stuff. Okay, if I wouldn't do any of that, if I would just do outdoor climbing, there would be no photographers standing in line and waiting to shoot me while I'm, climbing. Okay, that's just not the case. For that, I'm not good enough. And this is why I don't consider myself a pro climber. Simple as that, because I could not sustain myself with just climbing, which is precisely what a pro climber is all about. He just climbs, and people are coming from all over the world. Sponsors, want to give you money, want to have you promote their stuff, all that kind of stuff. These guys come to me too, but only because I have a platform, because I have this channel. Other than that, I'm 28 years old now, and my max grade is still 8C. Although I have sent something that could be maybe 8C plus as well, but who knows? And that's just simply not good enough for that age, I would argue. Okay, so that's the pro climber thing. Do you have any suggestions for resources to tone technique and analyze climbs while at home? Get your camera, man. Film yourself. Filming yourself is definitely something, man. There's something about seeing yourself climbing which you usually never experience if you don't have a camera, or at least someone who films you, Since I started making these videos, I look differently onto certain topics because I have watched myself in the meantime so often climbing. I really have a feeling I can estimate my own body type and how I look like while I'm climbing and stuff like that. I can just by making these videos, I have a much more accurate impression of my body type, and how it works with climbing and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely film yourself, and over the time you will learn a lot. Do you know a good outdoor bouldering area in Styria, preferably near Graz? There is stuff near Graz. I don't know if it's good though. I haven't bouldered still in Styria outdoors, which is kind of a shame because there is stuff out there, I know it. But it's not as popular, I would say, and not as known even, I would say, as it is in Eastern Austria or even in West Austria, in Tyrol, where there's guidebooks and all that kind of stuff. I don't know where I can find that, maybe in the internet in Graz, in the Graz area, but there is stuff. That's what I know. Hey Manny, 193 centimeters tall, 93 kilograms, and I'm about 16% body fat. I'm stuck climbing V7 for years. Tips for getting leaner, better at climbing. Yeah, I mean, 93 kilograms for 193, that is actually quite heavy. It's quite heavy. It seems, but if you're only at 16% body fat, maybe that's simply your body type, okay? You could be lighter. I think I knew a guy who was 196 or something centimeters in height, and he was like 79 kilograms or something, which was pretty lean already, okay? But yeah, you could be lighter there. Is it healthy? That's another question, okay? Apart from that, yeah, of course, any kilograms matter, as we've talked about before. So if you can get lighter, it's definitely helping. Getting leaner, yeah, I mean, as an example, I feel pretty good with staying 10% body fat all year long, okay? I've never been above that, but I also have rarely been below that. You know, when I do these crazy fasting experiments and stuff like that, then I go below it. But other than that, I'm pretty constant at 10%. So I would consider that still healthy, you know. So you could go maybe to 10%, but who knows? You know, you're a different person, so you can't really generalize there. Definitely make use of your height, man. Once 193 is tall as hell. You can skip whole crux moves for other people. This is something you should look out for. Okay. Hey Manny, does outdoor climbing, specifically bouldering, make your fingers stronger more than indoor bouldering? Yeah, definitely. Outdoor bouldering is going to be the best for finger strength. Absolutely. Manny, I'm 47, been climbing for 25 years or so, mostly part-time. At my age, should I focus more on strength or technique? Focus on strength as much as you can without getting too injured, okay? You're already, you know, in the a little bit older range, I would say, but not super old. You know, there is still other. I mean, there was this guy, this French guy. Where was it? In Alfred, I think. French guy projecting 9A. Alfred guy was at least 55, I would say. Or at least he looked that way. I mean, he was pretty worn out already by all the sun and the wind. So maybe he was only, quote unquote, in his late 40s or something. But he was definitely a lot older than me. And I was projecting at that time the first part of this 9A, which was 8C, okay? And I couldn't get it done during this trip because we had limited time and I still was quite new to the whole grade and stuff like that. So I was projecting this 8C, and this guy just basically cruised the 8C part for the warm-up and then started projecting the 9A. And actually, a few months after that, I saw on 8a.nu on the site that he actually sent the 9A, okay? And so this goes to show that, I mean, there's older people out there in their 50s who are a lot fitter than me in terms of outdoor sport climbing, okay? Experience matters a lot. Get as much of it in as possible. Should you focus more on strength and technique or on technique? As much on strength as you can do without getting injured, and simply getting as much of the stuff in that you want to get good at. That's the basic recommendations, man. Do you know where I can get good outdoor bouldering equipment? In a good climbing store, I guess, with good bouldering pads, and also the internet, of course. Hi Manny, boulder 3 times a week, 2 to 3 hours, 1 day campus on small edge, heavy legs, okay. Heavy legs, any tips? Man, it's a complicated question. I cannot really answer general, you know, such individual training questions here on that stream. On what do you need to look when buying a rope? How to buy a rope? Well, there's a lot of tiny details when it comes to rope. Okay, some people might wonder, why does one rope cost like 300 euros and the other one only 150, although they are the similar length and stuff? You have to realize that different ropes have different handling, okay? The way how the rope bends and how it feels in your hand. Does it feel more like a Schnur in German would be the right word, like a thin piece of rope, you know? Also, the thickness of the rope doesn't really indicate that it's better with handling and stuff. Some ropes are a lot more flexible, although they are thicker. Okay, a good example for this would be the BR Joker. The BR Joker was always a very high performance rope, and I really love this one. You know, it has very good handling. It's not super thin or anything, but it feels good in your hand, and it's very light as well. Okay, so these are things that you can't really judge from looking at the price and at the rope. You're only gonna feel that stuff when you actually unpack it and use it, you know. So this is the reason why some ropes simply cost more than others, although they are on the surface they are the same. And then it goes to question simply, what do you need it for, you know? Should it be a projecting rope that should be able to take a lot of falls without falling apart? Well, then go for something thicker and something a little bit more durable, you know, something that's maybe a little bit heavier. And if you want to have something that you want to use only for your hard sands, then you should pick something that has a very light weight and a good handling, obviously. And this is always going to be more expensive. This is the stuff that you should ask yourself when buying a rope, okay? All right, I just got an actualized chat. So the chat, jumped down again. And we're already 2 hours 15 in that stream. And my voice is already starting to go downhill. So I guess we are finishing the stream soon. Maximilian Michels. Yeah! First super chat. I received the first super chat in my YouTube career. Thank you, Maximilian Michels. These are €2. Here you go. Thank you for your videos, Manny. It's very much appreciated, Maximilian. Thanks. I'm really enjoying making them, and I'm even more enjoying if people like them. That's nice. Hau mal was auf Österreichisch raus. Jo, mir jetzt dann langsam mir auf den Weg machen, weil wir müssen halt noch ein bisschen weiter fahren. Ja, wir fahren nämlich halt Richtung Italien, Bella Italia, as I already said before, in die Gegend Friaul, nach Tortola, as we call it in Austria, or Tortola, okay. And there should be some awesome alpine stuff. And then maybe we're gonna check out something else too. Let's see. So I will pick one last question per random, okay? And then we're gonna finish off the stream. I hope you enjoy it. Could you please save the video? Of course I will do that. Then I have a bit to watch for tomorrow. Thanks, Manny. Of course I will do that. So one more good question. Servus, Manny. Any tips for climbing while gaining weight, bulking up? Gaining weight for climbing, okay, wrong thing. Losing weight. If you want to climb, good, lose weight. If you want to use climbing to gain weight, I think there's better stuff you can do to gain weight, honestly. The classic, bodybuilder weightlifting approach would probably work best. But it also, really depends on what you eat, okay? If you're eating a lot of high carb stuff, and very low on the animal products, then you're going to lean out a lot more if you combine that with exercise, okay? If you're sedentary and you're eating a lot of high carb stuff, well, then anything can happen. You can blow up like a balloon as well. But if you're doing a lot of exercise on the high carb thing with low animal products, you're going to lean out, after my experience. If you're doing a lot of exercise, high animal product intake, then you're gonna you're gonna gain a little bit of weight. You also gain a lot more muscle and stuff like that way, which again is not even always a good thing in terms of climbing, because actually the less muscle you can afford to still be strong, then you're also lighter, and this always counts a lot more than raw strength, okay? It's about finger strength divided by body weight, essentially, okay? This is the factor that you want to up as much as possible. All right. So much for that. Again, my voice is starting to let me down. So again, I thank you so much for 70K subscribers. Really crazy. This is something, 3 years ago I started this channel, over 3 years ago now. Yeah, crazy that now we're up at this point. It's been a fun ride. It's been a fun journey. Definitely gonna keep going. It's going uphill with the performance. The finger is back at 98%, I have the feeling, and soon we're gonna get that nice peak of post-injury performance. Okay, I can already feel it. I feel it in my urine, my friend. I feel it in my urine. And hopefully we can capitalize on that, I would say, get some hard stuff done. Hopefully no new injuries will open up, because, then we would have to go through this injury phase again, and that wouldn't be cool. But at the moment it's looking good, and we already got some hard projects, so hopefully we can get some hard climbing in very soon, and maybe make some videos from that. That would be awesome. And other than that, I would say I will wish you a good season 2. Hopefully you're doing something with the awesomely beautiful weather outside. It's hot, but still you can climb and get some stuff done, I would say. I will definitely do some awesome stuff this summer. I have the feeling we are going to go on a bigger trip, because you're watching the stream at the very end. I will reveal a little secret to you. We're gonna go on a little bit of a bigger trip very soon. And I will try to document that as well, of course. Make some awesome videos about it. That would be cool. Yeah, that's really all I wanted to say this live stream. I didn't get to train a lot because you guys asked so many questions. I also want to throw a special thanks out to Maximilian, who dropped the first super chat onto this channel. That was pretty cool. And yeah, until then, I would say I will see you soon in the next video. This Saturday, we should come out with a little bit of a different content than usual. I hope you enjoyed as well. It was fun to film this stuff. And until then, see you soon. Bye. Maybe, by the way, maybe we can make this a regular thing. I would like to live stream, maybe, let's say once a month or something. I can imagine doing that. Always with a different setting, with maybe a little bit of training in the background and stuff like that, Anyway, I don't want to waste more of your time. Do something. Go out, do something, have fun. Bye.